And we are live Wednesday, February 5th, Wednesday before the Super Bowl. One game left, unfortunately, in the football season, and that's the Super Bowl 59. And yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a Super Bowl I'm looking forward to as a Giants fan. Got the Eagles there, and as a new member of the Denver Bronco Roundup and following the Broncos, not happy the Chiefs are there. So I don't know who I'm going to root for come Sunday, but we'll find out before the end of the show. But I got three of my good friends with me. I'll start to my right. Mr. Paul Rosen is here tonight. How we doing? And my fellow Giants fan.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Graham, and especially a warm welcome to our brother from another, Mr. Keith Brugman. Great pleasure to have you with us tonight. And let me just say, as a Giants fan, Kenny, no self-respecting Giants fan can root for the Philadelphia Eagles on Super Bowl Sunday. So I don't want to hear you rooting for the Eagles.
Half of me is a Chiefs fan, half of me is an Eagles fan because I will not be
No,
allowed on Denver Bronco Roundup
you
again if I
will.
was
No.
voting for the Chiefs. I don't know. We'll get Graham. We got Graham backstage. What do you think about that, Graham? And how are you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, the I think that it's going to actually be the first repeat Super Bowl I ever saw. So kind of neat, and I think that it'll be
We're gonna get
um
we'll get our predictions in a little while. Sorry to
oh
make you
yeah,
off
right.
there. Yeah, I want you to throw the prediction out right now because we'll get that later. But yeah, no, thank you, Graham. Graham's going to be backstage helping us out. He'll be in the chatting with everybody as well. Uh, Mr. Carson Shear is here with us. Fell a little short, Lions, Carson, but heck of a season. I know you'll be looking forward to the Super Bowl. So your opening statement.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Glad to be here. Big shout out to Keith for joining us tonight, and yeah, ready to rock and roll. What's up, everyone?
Yeah, and as Carson said, we got a special guest. Kurt has got something to do tonight, important, so he's not with us. I got some short little videos. Got one coming up of him, but in his place, I got one of the best around. My good friend, our good friend from the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, Mr. Keith Brugman's with us tonight. How are you doing, Keith?
I'm doing fantastic, Kenny. I can't always make all these invitations. I told Kenny right off the bat, man, I'm making this one unless something catastrophic comes up. I'm going to go ahead and make it. Can't miss out all these amazing shows that you guys put on with Paul and Carson, Kenny, Kurt. I'm just happy to be here.
And our last introduction, guys, I'm going to put Mr. Valenti on the screen here. I got a little video of his intro. And last but not least, Mr. Valenti, who's not live with us. This was recorded, but Kurt, sorry you can't be with us tonight, but an opening statement from you, my friend. This is Wednesday, the Wednesday before the Super Bowl.
Opening statement. You put me on the spot. A couple things. First off, guys, I wish I could be there tonight. I'm unable to get there, but Carson, Paul, Kenny, of course, Keith, everyone watching, happy Super Bowl week. And my opening statements are very simple. Two things. One, hey, Scoops, fly, Eagle, fly. Let's go. I invested in this money-wise. I invested in this with the heart. I investing in this rooting. Let's go, Eagles. And number two, and more importantly, Jody, Denver Bronco Roundup, guys. I expect to be here next year. Let's go. Shopping season starts soon. Let's go. Get the Broncos here next year.
The one and only Kurt Valenti and his opening statement. So, all right, guys, before we get started, I got a couple comments. I want to get some hellos in. Everybody's good friend, Mr. Michael Ronquillo, saying good evening,
Hey,
Kenny,
Michael.
Carson, Paul, and Keith. What's up, Michael? And there's Kurt with another opening statement, saying hello in the chat. Screw the Chiefs. Fly, Eagles, fly. Have a great show, boys. By the way, did you see what Sean Payton said today, Keith? He said, we're going to be a problem. Oh, yes, the Broncos are. Let's go, baby. How about those Knicks, Paul? How about those Johnnies, Carson? Man, I think that was more of an intro than his recorded intro. So he got and Miss Pearl Heater saying hello to all. Miss Pearl's a good follower of all our shows as well.
Hey,
so
Miss Pearl.
Hi, Pearl. How are you? Hope all is well. But Paul, I'm ready, guys. I'm ready to get the show started.
Okay.
First segment tonight. Paul and I got some quick hitters. Paul, I got 3. I'm going to do two of mine, and then we'll get to. Well, I'll do one. I'll do my first one, and then I'm going to pass it to you, and I'll do my final 2 last.
Okay.
First one, guys. Carson. Average ticket price last year for Super Bowl was $8,400. Take a guess what this year is, and I'll ask each of you guys the same, and I'll tell you what the price is at the end.
Average ticket price. I'm gonna say 9,000.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah, probably in that range, 9,200.
Keith.
Well, I'm going to do prices right. I'll go 9,250.
It went down to 3,400 most recently.
What?
But it's because they're saying because it's this repeat Super Bowl, people are tired of this Super Bowl, everything that's going on. But an average weekend stay in New Orleans, 15,000. So that tells you.
Shocking.
But yeah.
So who's planning on a Super Bowl next year? Only 15 grand for the weekend, boys. Come on.
That's it. In New Orleans. Yeah. So
May bag of shells.
You got some quick hitters. Go ahead. Take it away.
Okay. I'll go the way I see it. I'll go Kenny, Carson, and Keith. If the Chiefs three-peat, Andy Reid wins his 4th Super Bowl, is he on the Mount Rushmore of coaches? Kenny?
As much as I'd hate to say no, I got to put him up there, Paul. Yes.
Carson?
Yeah, I think if he gets it done, he's definitely top 4 all time.
Keith?
Might be the top. Top.
Yeah.
Graham's agreeing. He's saying yes as well.
I'm going to sweep the board also. Second one, if the Chiefs three-peat, where does Patrick Mahomes rank on the all-time quarterback list with 4 Super Bowl championships? What's your top 3 quarterbacks of all time? Keith, I'll start with you.
Ooh, boy, that's an on-the-spot question. Where does he rank all time? Got to be top 5. He might make top 3. To name my top 3 right off the top of my head. Oh boy, you're killing me here, Paul. Gotta go Tom Brady. I'm a homer, so I'll go Peyton Manning. Boy, third, I'll go old school. I'll go Joe Montana off the top of my head.
Nice. Carson?
Yeah, I think if he three-peats, never been done before, people are going to argue back and forth. He might be 1A, 1B, Brady and Mahomes. I still think he's number 2. But yeah, I think right now it's Brady 1, Mahomes 2, and for me 3. I'll bribe Keith and say John Elway.
Nice. Kenny?
Brady 1. I'm putting Mahomes high up there too, and I'm going to go Montana 3. Graham's got Brady, Manning, Montana, Mahomes on the outside still looking in.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kenny. I think it's Brady, Montana, Mahomes. I think 1, 2, 3. If the Chiefs three-peat, they'll win 4 Super Bowls and 5 out of the last 6 appearances. Are they a dynasty, and where do they rank all time in the NFL annals? Carson, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think definitely a dynasty for sure. And again, if you do something that's never been done before in NFL history, I mean, you gotta put it up there with Brady and the Patriot years. So I would probably say number 2 all time dynasty in NFL.
Yeah, Keith.
I hate to be a sweeping agreement, but I would put it right in the same ranking. I mean, until you tack on a couple of more, I don't think you touch Brady and Belichick, but you're better than anything that I think the Pittsburgh Steelers put out, and I think that's the next best.
Yeah, I agree with that also. Kenny?
Correction, I was the Brady, Manning, Montana, Mahomes was the Mount Rushmore, not Mahomes on the outside looking in from Graham. Miss Pearl's got Brady, Montana. I'm going to be a little slight different. I'm going to say this is a better dynasty. And I think it's because I think the quarterbacks that Mahomes are going up against as a whole, better as a whole than Brady. Brady had Manning, yes. Brady had Roethlisberger and Rivers. But I think when you put Burrow's career, Lamar Jackson, Allen, those three guys, I think, are going to have better, I think they can be better when it's all come to shove as a whole than the other guys mentioned. Manning, of course, up on top, but Roethlisberger and Rivers, I'm going to say Jackson, Allen, and Burrow better than those three. So I'm going to say yes for the dynasty here if they win.
Nice. Good. All right. I'll do one more and then I'll hand it back to you, Kenny. So 2 years ago, of course, Chiefs, Eagles, the Kelsey Bowl. Obviously, Travis is playing Sunday. Jason retired after that game. And however, he came out and said he is rooting for the Eagles for Sunday's game, not for the Chiefs and his brother. So should blood be thicker than water? And should Jason be rooting for the Chiefs and for Jason and for Travis Carson?
Yeah, I think you got to root for your brother. I know he's you got that rivalry going on when they faced off in the Super Bowl, but yeah, you got to root for your brother.
Kenny?
Agree with Carson. You got to root for your brother, especially when he's chasing history. Three peats. So there might be a little jealousy there. Maybe that's why he's rooting for the Eagles.
Yeah, I would agree. And Keith?
I'll go opposite, man. You got to stick with the team that took care of you. I mean, and the fan base that took care of you. You know, that your brother, he's made his own career. He's done well for himself. He doesn't need another cheerleader. You know, I think it's admirable for him to go ahead and be like, I'm cheering on the Chiefs. Or I'm cheering on the Eagles. I'm cheering against my brother and the Chiefs.
Okay.
I like Graham's comment. He thinks there's definitely that competitive edge, so therefore he's adding fuel to Travis's fire.
Yeah, I think if any of you guys have had brothers, and certainly when you have a twin brother like I had, you've always been competitive. So that could be it also. All right, Kenny, I'll hand it right back to you.
Yeah, this one's not necessarily quick hitter, guys. You could take a minute or less on this one. Favorite Super Bowl moment, Paul?
Well, you guys have heard me, 2 days ago, February 3rd, 2008, I was very blessed to have attended Super Bowl 42. The only time I ever even wanted to go to a Super Bowl. And the Giants, of course, played the Patriots. And I figured when I decided I wanted to go, it was either one of two things. I was going to see the greatest team of all time go undefeated, or I'm going to see my New York Giants register the biggest upset in football history. And thank God that happened, and it was tremendous. I will tell you, what was it, 2008? So what is that, 17 years ago? I paid about $5,200 for everything going to the game, including ticket and everything. So I think I think the money was well spent.
Absolutely. Carson, I'm throwing a rare jab at you, but not too many memories over there yet. So let's hope in the next 10 years you get some new ones. Yeah. But I'm sure you got a Super Bowl memory to share with us.
Yeah, like I respected Tom Brady growing up, but I always wanted somebody to beat him. And kind of like what Paul was saying with the Giants, watching that helmet catch with David Tyree and Eli Manning, that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I think I was like 8 or 9 years old watching that play live. So
you're making me old, Carson.
Yeah, I haven't really had too many memorable moments because the Lions are never there. But yeah, that helmet catch was pretty insane to watch.
Mr. Brugman, the Broncos have had a few. Which one is your most memorable?
I'll go back to the one that probably brought me out of my seat the most. Because you know this one's for John, and the helicopter, which was phenomenal. But I'll go back to the play that really capped it off, and that was John Mobley knocking down the pass from Brett Favre to cap the game. That was an opportunity for this game to continue on with Brett Favre and the Packers. And that was such a monumental moment. I mean, the chills that went through my body once John Mobley knocked down that pass, and it was done. It was over. We won. I got to give it up to that moment, man. That was awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome. Graham's is Cam Newton choosing to not dive for the football.
Hmm.
A couple people breaking some NBA news.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler from Michael and Graham traded to the Golden State Warriors for Andrew Wiggins and a couple other players
Easy
and a
deal.
draft pick.
Hmm.
Thanks for the breaking news there. NBA's been on fire. If it wasn't Super Bowl week, I'm sure it'd be an NBA show. So next week might be pretty heavy NBA, but tonight is all about the Super Bowl. I got Kurt's Super Bowl favorite moment, guys. We're going to put Mr. Valenti, along with Keith Brugman, Denver Broncos have had many choices here, but we're looking for your favorite Super Bowl moment, Kurt. You can even go against the Broncos if you want.
I mean, come on. Had you asked me that question? Listen, Super Bowl 50, Peyton Manning, I felt that like it was like 4 years all in one game. Was it all worth it for one game? Absolutely it was. So I was just so happy that Peyton got his second Super Bowl and he brought that Super Bowl trophy, the combo of Elway, Kubiak, and Manning and that elite defense. And Super Bowl 33, I mean, listen, that's one of the best teams ever. For talk about Kansas City, if that Super Bowl 33 Bronco team, Kenny, the one that we saw that the Giants upset, that team, listen to me, that team's favorite by 14 points over Kansas City. They don't score 7 points. We put up we beat that team 30-7. We blow that this Kansas City team out. That team's loaded. But my number one, Kenny, Super Bowl 32. Packers, Denver was like a 12 or 14 point underdog. AFC didn't win, I think, since 83, since the Raiders. And, hey, keep pounding that ball, baby. Terrell Davis, well over 130 yards, MVP. Elway made the plays when he wanted. Run the ball, play defense. I'll never forget this, Kenny. 4th and 7. Greg Robinson blitzed the house. Here comes Mobley. Boom. Mobley hits him. Mobley didn't hit him. Mobley's the one that broke up the pass with the tight end. They sent though like 7 guys. Boom. Here it comes. Mobley breaks it up. Hand up. Elway. They carry him off. Super Bowl 32 best moment. Let's go, baby.
Great minds think alike, right?
How about that, man? I was
gonna say.
off script.
Yep. So yeah, we got some fun Super Bowl moments there. Graham's first Super Bowl he watched was the Steelers Seahawks, and he couldn't agree more with you and Kurt there, Keith. So my last one's always a fun one. We'll get Carson's when he comes back. He stepped away for a second. So we all know it started, unfortunately, the Super Bowl that the Giants beat the Broncos, Paul and Keith. At the end of the game, they go to the MVP of the Super Bowl, and they ask them where they're going. So, Paul, Carson, this is our final question. It's the fun one. Paul, in a reverse world, somehow the Giants made it to Super Bowl 59. You're the MVP of the game. Paul, where are you going?
I'm going to Disney World. Woo!
Mr. Carson Shear, the Lions got to their first Super Bowl, and they are victorious. You're the MVP of the game. Where are you going?
I'm going to Disney World to hang out with Pluto and Mickey Mouse, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. Mr. Brugman, the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix in year 1, first rookie to ever win the Super Bowl. Where are you going?
We're going to Disney World. We're going to be wearing suits and ties with Mickey. I love it, buddy.
That was good. That was good, guys. Those were our quick hitters. I thought of that one after Kurt. I did my videos with Kurt. Otherwise, I would have had him do his best Disney World, and probably would have taken about 10 takes on it. But we would have had fun with that. But unfortunately, I did it too late. Michael saying Disney World. I could hear him over there, out there as well. So there's a little fun one for you guys. Those were quick hitters. Going to pass it off to Paul for our next one. Each year he's done this. I'll let him explain what he's got with KC versus Philly in this little fun segment.
Yeah, every year we do a comparison of the cities that get into the Super Bowl. Obviously, this year it's Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, versus Kansas City, the barbecue capital of the world. So I'm going to give you a variety of different choices in a variety of different kinds of examples of the city's best, and you get a flavor for it, and you'll just tell me, would you rather have the Philadelphia thing or the Kansas City thing? So, for example, I'll start with Kenny. Greatest Eagle, Kenny, Reggie White or greatest Chief, Len Dawson?
Reggie White, for sure.
Carson
Reggie White.
and Keith?
The Deacon.
Okay. Let me give you food. Are you going to pick the gooey cheese whiz on a Philadelphia cheesesteak, or would you rather have a Kansas City barbecue with ribs and pulled pork and brisket and chicken? Which one of those would you pick, Keith?
Easy for me, man. I'm not a barbecue fan, so I'm going that that Philly cheesesteak all day long. I'll gobble them up.
Carson?
Yeah, originally you sold me on Philly cheesesteak, but then you mentioned Kansas City barbecue. I got to go with barbecue.
And Kenny?
I'm gonna go cheesesteak. I've had. I grew up in New Jersey, so it's more closer to Philadelphia for cheesesteak. Cheesesteak. We weren't known for barbecue. I am starting to like barbecue that I'm in Maryland now. Had some good barbecue. Good franchise. If you don't have good barbecue in your area, is Mission Barbecue. We'll plug them over the air. If you have a Mission Barbecue near them, try them out. But let's get Kurt's answer to that one, Paul. All right,
Okay,
Kurt, we
and then
got
I'll give
Philly
you my
versus
answer.
Kansas City.
Go ahead.
Kansas City is represented by the pulled pork sandwich, and Philadelphia, the famous cheesesteak. Who do you got here, Kurt?
Don't even waste my time on this. And you know what? Don't waste my time twice. The pulled pork, whatever pork, Hawaiian pork, get all the pork out. That's out. So it's obviously Philly with the cheesesteak, but cheesesteak without cheese. A plain steak sandwich, steak, bread, steak sandwich all the way.
There it is. Cheesesteak over pulled pork. So obviously he's got a tie because cheesesteak with no cheese. That's not Philly neither. So
all right, I'm picking barbecue every day until Sunday. Especially we're making ribs for Super Bowl Sunday, so that's I'm going with that. Let's go to our next category. Best Super Bowl championship team, the 2018 Eagles or the 2023 Chiefs? Kenny?
23 Chiefs.
Keith?
Yeah, I had to say the 23 Chiefs. And I'm also going to make Philly cheesesteaks come to Super Bowl now.
Oh, okay. And Carson?
I'm going to say the Eagles just because of Nick Foles.
Okay. I'll go with last year's Chiefs. Oh, Kenny, by the way, I had Mission barbecue down in Florida. You're right. It's great. Fantastic. Yeah.
Brad is going Chiefs, by the way. Michael's eating pizza for the Super Bowl. He eats that every year. So
nice.
A little take on that, too.
All right. Best fan for the Eagles, actor, comedian, huge Eagles fan, Kevin Hart. Or for the Chiefs, actor, comedian, huge Chiefs fan, Eric Stonestreet. Carson?
I'll go Kevin Hart.
Kenny?
I got to go Kevin Hart. I think he's definitely been there for them. Not just a good comedian, but I've seen him support the Eagles big time.
Keith?
If I can see him down there, I'll say Kevin Hart.
Yeah. I'm going to go Eric Stonestreet. This guy is a fanatical Chiefs fan. If you've ever seen him being interviewed, I mean, the guy's not just a fan; he knows his stuff. So he would be he would be a great fan.
Kevin Hart and Graham.
Kevin Hart. Okay. Best franchise coach of all time: Philadelphia, Andy Reid; Kansas City, Andy Reid. Carson,
I'm gonna go with Kansas City, Andy Reid.
Keith,
I'm going Philadelphia Eagles, Andy Reid.
Kenny.
I'm going to do a Kurt. I'm going to pick him both. I mean, I think he's been the best coach in both of those teams. Kurt always pulls that one answer off, but I think he's been the best in the Eagles franchise, and I think he's been the best in the Chiefs franchise.
I agree. I mean, when the Giants would play him every year, the years he was with the Eagles, they just couldn't beat him. I mean, they did, but he was just a phenomenal coach against the Giants. So it was, in a way, I was always glad once he left to become the Chiefs coach. Okay, obviously the cities have different sports teams. Baseball, Bryce Harper or Bobby Witt Jr. Kenny?
We're talking about today. I'm going Bobby Witt Jr.
Keith?
I'll go the opposite because I think Bryce Harper, I'm going to take the long term.
Okay. Carson?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bobby Witt. Watching him in the Central, he's insane. I'm with Kenny.
Yeah. Not that I see him that often, but the guy is so talented. I'm going to go with Bobby Witt. Last category, famous song, the Rocky theme song, or it's a quasi Kansas City song, Shake It Off by someone famous. Kenny?
The Rocky theme, for sure.
Keith?
Man, I'm going to get some haters. I'm going to shake it off right here, man. I'm going T-Swizzle. I'm going Taylor Swift all the way, buddy.
Carson?
You can't top Rocky. Rocky for sure.
I agree. I mean, if that song isn't getting you out of bed at 4 a.m. in the morning, breaking 7 raw eggs in a glass and drinking it and then going out and running 10 miles, nothing will. So
I got to ask, has anybody drank in raw eggs? Because I can say Rocky inspired me to do so.
Oh, did it? And how did it taste?
Better if you do it in a glass of milk. That way it kind of just all goes down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looked a little kind of gooey when he did it, so I'll pass. But those are my comparisons. Thanks, guys.
Let's get some
Nice
comments. Eddie Murphy joining us, and I apologize, Eddie. Eddie was commenting on my Facebook page, which I didn't have up because I was reading comments and taking Kurt's place. I forgot to block myself there. I got a bunch from him, Graham, so I'll just read them on my feed here. Still too early to bring up the Lions. That was back on his on the jab that I had at Carson. Breaking news, he's breaking the Butler trade. Then he's saying barbecue over anything that has to do with Philly. So he's going he's Giants.
There you go, Eddie.
No cheese. What a nerd he's talking about, Kurt.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you.
Some more comments. Pearl saying, I do not like Taylor Swift. We got fun little Taylor Swift question coming up. And also going Rocky. A lot of Rockies out there. We got one from Michael, Rocky, Eddie, Rocky, Pearl, Rocky. So Rocky's taking a nice little sweep there. No, good segment there, Paul. It's always fun with the KC Philly. Hopefully next year we'll get some new teams and we can have some new comparisons. We might have to do it, and we might have to do it throughout the playoffs. We may have to compare. Have to be a series, a series like would do a game, do a comparison each week on two teams that are playing leading up to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and have like a little bracket, a little before March Madness bracket. We'll have a little playoff bracket there. Eddie wants to know what time is the concert on Sunday. LOL. But yeah, we're gonna pass it off to Carson. He has. I'm sorry. Carson has a legacy question. So Carson's corner is split up. And then he's got. We got Carson's corner, a couple things after that, and then Carson's corner part B. So we'll call this Carson's corner part A with this first question.
Thanks, Kenny. Yeah, so I got a 2-part question, one for the coach and one for the quarterback. In your guys' opinion, in this Super Bowl, how do you think it affects their legacy the most? Do you think Hurts has more on the line by winning this Super Bowl, or do you think Mahomes going for the three-peat and his legacy trying to become arguably the greatest quarterback of all time in the Brady realm? Is this a bigger deal for Pat Mahomes to win this game or Jalen Hurts? We'll go to Keith first.
It's close. I think it's pretty tight. But, honestly, I think you got to go to Patrick Mahomes, getting that three-peat, solidifying yourself in that legacy. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes in this one, but I wouldn't rule out Hurts. That's a great question.
Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes. I mean, nobody in the Super Bowl era has had a three-peat, and if he does it, I mean, his legacy is cemented right now. I mean, if he never did anything else, he's in the Hall of Fame first ballot. But in fact, if they wind up winning Sunday, I mean, he just cements it. What Hurts and the Eagles don't want to do is he would then be a two-time loser, and then all of a sudden you get those rumors and talks, oh, we can't win the big one, and that could hurt him in a negative fashion moving forward.
Kenny.
We got another Mahomes from Eddie. We got Mahomes and the refs from Eddie, actually. Mahomes from Pearl. Michael, Patrick Mahomes with soap in my mouth. I'm going to be the odd man out here, Carson. Mahomes has his legacy already. I mean, he's got a bunch of Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. If Hurts loses again to Pat Mahomes, will he get a chance to get there again would be my first question. Mm-hmm. And with this team, he's got a lot more talent. Got Barkley added to this team on offensive, best offensive line in football. You go and lose this game to Pat Mahomes, that's going to tell me something about your legacy. So I'll be the odd man out here possibly and go with Jalen Hurts has more to lose in this game.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kenny. I originally thought Pat Mahomes going for the three-peat and that whole standard. But again, Hurts, like you said, he lost to him a couple years ago in the Super Bowl. He's got a ton of weapons, like Kurt has been preaching all the time before. You got the best running back in football in the backfield. He has to touch the ball 30 plus times in this game, no questions asked. I think you gave Hurts that giant contract a couple years ago. At one point, he was the highest paid quarterback for a couple months. So, he's still up there and he's got a lot to prove. So I'm going to say Hurts. But yeah, so on the flip side of that, we'll go to the coaching realm. Nick Sirianni, same thing, went to the Super Bowl with the Eagles, a lot of slack, a lot of criticism, had some, struggles in the playoffs in years past. But he's back there. So he's going to be trying to win his first Super Bowl. And Andy Reid, Paul was saying earlier, he's got a chance if he wins this game to be one of the greatest coaches of all time. So same question, but for the coaching aspect, same order. We'll go to Keith, Andy Reid or Nick Sirianni.
A lot more on the line for Nick Sirianni. I mean, with people were calling for his heads possibly at the end of last season, he could be more of a Doug Peterson than a renowned Super Bowl coach. He wins now. Solidifies him. He loses, we're talking hot seat again.
Mm-hmm. Paul.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with Keith. I mean, Andy Reid's legacy is cemented. I mean, if he's now ranked, fifth, sixth greatest coach, obviously if he wins Sunday, he probably jumps up to second or third of all time. But Sirianni has a lot to lose. Again, if they do lose, that's again 2 losses in Super Bowls. You get there, you can't win the big one. And like Keith said, is that hot seat time?
Kenny.
Play the reverse side again. Sirianni does have a lot to lose. Yes. And Keith nailed it. Your job could be on the line here. Mm-hmm. But if Andy Reid loses this game, you're not going to hear greatest coach ever. He wins this game, he's going to be in that. You're going to start hearing all over the media, all over news, all over shows. Is Andy Reid best coach ever in football? He's going to be right up there with the Belichick talk and even the Vince Lombardi talks. So Andy Reid's got a lot to lose here.
For sure. Yeah, I'm with you, Kenny. I'll go with Andy Reid. Like you were saying, it all depends on how they finish their careers. That's what they're remembered by. There's been a lot of athletes and coaches who they've started off great and then they kind of started downward. But you're talking Mount Rushmore, greatest coach ever. Three-peat would definitely put Andy Reid in that conversation. So I'm going to say Andy Reid. So that's part A. We'll get to part B later. So thanks, guys.
Awesome job, Carson.
Good job, Carson.
Thanks.
Graham was saying it's not even all Mahomes because he remembers a game against the Broncos when Mahomes was out with a knee injury and they killed us with Alex Smith, I think. Eddie Murphy, Reid is the greatest Kansas City coach and Philly coach of all time. So Eddie agreeing with me on what I said there.
Thanks for coming to the party, Eddie.
Yeah, he was on my feed. That's my fault.
I'm being facetious.
Some side chat. You guys are more than welcome to have side chat going on with the NBA. I'm holding off on the NBA chat, guys, but on live, so you guys can chat on the side if you like with the NBA stuff. Eddie's saying, as long as no Kansas City fans go to Philly to put Chiefs gear on the Rocky statue, KC wins. All right, yeah, good job, Carson, with part A, Carson's Corner. Keith, our special guest. Keith, why don't we do real quick? Give us a quick plug on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. I see the logo up there, and then we'll get your question in.
Yeah, sure. Rocky Mountain Sports Network, our parent company of the Denver Bronco Roundup. We have the Rocky Mountain Sports Network website, RockyMountainSN.com. You can check out Kenny Kirkpatrick's latest dark horse free agents for Denver Broncos right there on Rocky Mountain SM. And then the Denver Bronco Roundup. That's our main show. We go live every Tuesday, every Friday, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, talking to everything Broncos, man. Everything that from news, notes, rumors. Love to go in there, have the posse, as we call them, our chat, jump in there and have a great show. And we invite everyone.
Thanks, Keith. You have a nice little fun question here for everybody. So I'm going to pass it right back to you for your question. Very
good, man. I appreciate it, man. It came out of my thought, man. I know there's been a lot of thought around, we always have, domed Super Bowls, that's the only thing we ever get. Some people would say it'd be great to have a weather Super Bowl. So I thought, what better way to go ahead and make it completely up in the air as to where the Super Bowl could be, but yet planned and give you a little bit of incentive. So Carson, I'm going to ask you first, what are your thoughts if the Super Bowl was determined by the winner the year before? That's the host city.
Yeah, I would love that idea. I think it would definitely bring in traffic to whatever city ends up getting it. I think there's a lot of economic implications in terms of hotels and dining and a bunch of other stuff revolving around the game. I remember when the Super Bowl was in Detroit, they had to plan that out years and years in advance to make sure everybody was, for one, safe, could get to the game, and it would be, profitable and everybody would be all good. But yeah, I like that idea. If they can make it work, kind of similar to what they had with baseball, with the All-Star game, where the winner used to get home field advantage. That would be cool if they did something with the Super Bowl to be put in their home stadium. So I'm a fan of it.
All right. Well, I understand economic implications, all the planning that goes involved. But Kenny, I'll flip it around as I go around the horn. What are your thoughts on this? I like the idea. Graham likes it too. I like the idea because you get to reward the fans that, so the Chiefs, if the Chiefs win this year's Super Bowl, Kansas City gets rewarded, and, it actually, maybe that team can get back to the Super Bowl. You can be right there, watching your team, and, the fans get rewarded for, the team's good play, as opposed to, let's say, hypothetically speaking, the Giants win the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl's in LA. Not too many New Yorkers can afford to go to LA unless you're Paul, who went to Super Bowl 42. But no, I like it. I was young and dumb. I like it. You can reward the team, the city, that won the Super Bowl gets to reward it. And like Carson said, if you can make it work economically, I'm all for it. Yeah, and if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you do have that years and years of planning in advance because you just keep going back. Paul, your thoughts? Am I full of hot, smoke and hot water? What are your thoughts on my idea of moving the Super Bowl around based on last year's winner?
Well, you are, Keith, but not for this question. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a fabulous idea. I mean, could you imagine the Packers win, and then the next year the Super Bowl is in the frozen tundra Lambeau Field. I mean, remember. I mean, of course, I'm aging myself, but I remember when the Ice Bowl and those games, those important games, were in the elements like that. I mean, that's what football was and is, or up in Buffalo. Imagine Buffalo in a snowstorm and the Super Bowl. That would be unbelievable. How many people would love that? I mean, people were crazy about the Eagles beating the Rams a couple of weeks ago in the playoffs in the snow. So that would be fabulous. Obviously, the economic situation is something that they would have to take into account. But overall, a fantastic idea.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it, man. I got around the horn yeses. I can't get any better than that,
Send
Kenny.
that to the NFL. I think you need to send it to the NFL, Keith.
Well,
Send that
thank you, Kenny.
proposal. No, good. I'm going to get a comment from Scoops. For those who don't know, Scoops is an Eagles fan, so good luck to the Eagles, Scoops. I'll say that as a Giants fan. Good luck. I won't hold sour grapes. Saquon's playing in the Super Bowl, so in my mind, I get to see a Giant play in the Super Bowl. So he's saying Coach Sirianni's still getting more vital role than he deserves after a second conference title. He loves Coach Reed, but he has to give it to Peterson, not only to win, but over the GOAT, Philly special. Doug Peterson, I'll give him that. That Peterson, I think, outcoached Belichick in that game and got Philly their Super Bowl with Nick Foles at quarterback. So hats off to them for that Super Bowl. All right. Next on our list is a fun show of ours, Clams and Claws, Wits and Wagers, hosted by Carson, who's on our panel each week, and Joey Clams, who's not with us tonight. Carson has some silly prop bets, but Carson, before you start, tell us about the Carson Shear Show. We usually do that at the end, but I'd like to do that now with a bunch of people in here. And I know Graham can put up the link like he did for Rocky Mountain Sports Network. That would be great.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. Carson Shear, Sports Talk Show. Been doing it about 2 years now. Give my thoughts, opinions, reactions on any big sports news that breaks. I did every single Detroit Tigers game last year, every Piston game, Red Wings game, Lions game, give my thoughts and reactions on that. And then any other big major news that goes down in the world of sports, I give my 2 cents on it. So you can check it out on YouTube and TikTok, The Carson Shear Show.
Awesome job Carson does there. Go check him out for sure. Back to you. I got a fun one here. I like this one we do every year, Wits and Wagers style.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. Yeah, so I saw this a couple days ago, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. So in case you guys don't know, there's a bet you can place in football games called an octopus. And what that means is a player catches a touchdown and records a 2-point conversion in the same game. So there was a bettor on Bet Rivers Casino. He placed a $51,000 bet that would not happen to win $1,500 in winnings. So he's risking $51,000 to win $1,500. Seems like a logical bet, right? So I wanted to know if you guys think that there will be first an octopus in the Super Bowl. And I believe if you wanted to make this bet yourselves, I think it's 30-1 for yes, there will be an octopus recorded in this game, because it doesn't happen too often. That's why I think it's minus 3,300 odds. So the odds are in your favor that you're going to win that bet, but that is a pretty risky bet to only win $1,500 back. So, Paul, your thoughts on this?
I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to tell you the player. I can see Jalen Hurts get the tush push to score a touchdown, and somehow there's a penalty, and they get the ball on the 1-yard line, and they attempt a 2-point conversion, and they do another tush push, and he scores a 2-point conversion.
Nice. I like that. Keith, will there be an octopus?
I'm going to say no octopus, and hats off to the guy who's willing to wager $51,000 to win $1,500.
Yeah.
I love his face.
That might be Kurt.
Yeah, exactly. Kenny, will there be an octopus?
Paul and I share a brain because I swear I was going to say that's a risky bet. 51,000 for 1,500 when you got a team like Philadelphia
Yep.
that's got an unstoppable play in the tush push, and risking that much, I would go the other way around and go 1,500 to win like 30,000. That's what I would do if I was the person risking 51,000.
Yeah.
You're risking 51,000, you got the money to waste.
Right.
So I would go the other way around and try and get it that way. But I think it could happen. I think it could. If Jalen Hurts would be the guy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to say yes, just because of that tush push. I was curious to see what your guys' thoughts were on that. Got a couple other fun ones, guys. First touchdown scorer in this game. Saquon Barkley is the favorite, plus 450. Then you got Jalen Hurts, Kareem Hunt, Kelsey, Worthy, A.J. Brown. The list goes down. So give me a guess on who do you think the first touchdown scorer will be in this game. Kenny.
This is one I like to take a chance on. I'll go to Eagles tight end, Dallas Goedert.
Nice. He is 19-1. I like that.
Yeah.
Paul.
I'm going to go D. Hopkins.
Nice. DeAndre Hopkins. He's 30-1.
Nice.
And Keith.
I'll go AJ Brown.
Nice. AJ Brown's 12-1. I like that. And I'll say Saquon plus 450. Let me see here. We'll do a simple fun one. Yes, or heads or tails for the coin toss, guys. If you're flipping the coin in the air, it's even money, obviously, on either side. But we'll be heads or tails for the coin toss. Kenny.
I'll be different this year. I'll go heads.
Paul.
Tails never fails.
Tails never fails. Keith.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Tails, tails, tails.
Nice. We'll do one more. Let me see here. I'm trying to think. We'll go with passing props. So Pat Mahomes, 250 passing yards over under. Kenny.
I'm gonna go slightly under.
Keith.
I'll go over.
Paul.
Over.
Okay, I'll go over as well. And then Jalen Hurts is 225 passing yards. He likes to run the ball more. That's kind of a interesting one. Kenny.
Everybody thinks that one's going to be under. I could see that one going over if he completes a big pass to Brown or Smith that's going to get him 50, 60 yards. I could see them taking a couple deep shots.
Nice. Paul.
I'm going to say under only for the fact that Saquon better have handled that ball 25, 30 times.
Keith.
Yeah, I think if the Eagles are winning, I'm going to go say under because I'm in agreement with Paul. I think that it's a Saquon type of game. I have one more question, though. Odds on Isaiah Rodgers to score the first touchdown.
Let me see here. I'm going to pull that up. Touchdown scorers. Yeah, Isaiah Pacheco is
Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers.
Isaiah Rodgers. Is he a defensive player?
He's the kick returner for the Eagles.
He's the kick returner for the Eagles. Boy, I can't find his name. I don't even think you can bet on that.
Wow.
That would be funny. Now,
kudos to you, Keith.
So you can bet special teams. So I think that would count. So that's 30-1 special team for the Eagles. Same with the Chiefs is 35-1. So that's an interesting one. You might get another Devin Hester opening kickoff touchdown. I like that.
Hey, Carson.
Yeah.
We can't pick Kadarius Toney to score the first touchdown. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So that's kind of my couple questions on the prop bets. I had one more, guys. Travis Kelce for the Chiefs. There's a lot of question marks, speculation on his future. One, is he established, if he wins this game, to be the greatest tight end of all time? Is it somebody else? Give me your thoughts and opinions. And do you believe it's time for him to retire? He's pushing mid-30s. He's accomplished a lot. Tight ends are really gruesome position to be in the NFL. You got to block, you got to catch passes, you got to tackle people. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Travis Kelce going into this game? Is he one of the greatest ever? And should he hang it up after this game is over? Paul.
Definitely one of the greatest ever, probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. But you know what? If he's still got that vim and vigor and that fire in his belly to continue playing, why not? Let him play as long as he wants, at least another year. And if he's still going to be productive, which I think he will be, hey, let him play as long as he can be productive.
Nice. Kenny.
Yeah, real quick, I just missed a couple comments earlier. Dave Portnoy betting $1 million on the Eagles. And Graham's fun fact was the Red Wings, Carson, they throw octopuses on the ice during playoff games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
The Detroit tradition. Yep.
And Miss Pearl's leaving. Thank you, Miss Pearl, for hanging out with us. Praying Kansas City loses. Graham thinks Kelce confirmed he was coming back. I think he definitely comes back if the Chiefs win. Why not try and go for 4 in a row?
Yeah.
You still got it in you, but if they lose, you may see him decide to hang it up. And, maybe the wedding bells start turning for his future with Taylor. So that's my thoughts on it. But I think one of the top 5 best tight ends, I think he'll have a legacy once he retires.
For sure. Keith, your thoughts on Kelce?
I think if you win, you walk away. I don't think he had near the season that he's had in years past. I don't think he's near the athlete that he once was. And what better way to walk away than right on top of a three-peat? As far as top tight ends, yeah, he's going to be in the top tight end conversation. Whether he's number 1, we could probably sit there and debate that for a little while. I don't know if he makes number 1 for me, but still, I would say top 3 easy.
Nice. Yeah, I think he's definitely in that top 3 conversation. So yeah, it's kind of my thoughts, guys, on the prop bet casino and Kelce.
Nice. We
Nice.
got a couple
Good job,
more
Carson.
for everybody. Scores and predictions. We'll get to the game now. Give us your prediction. You want to talk about it for a minute or less? We'll take a minute or less on it, each of us, if I want to mention it. And I got Kurt's as well. Kurt's is on there for a minute too. Let's go to Kurt first because he has a special guest with him in this video. And we are back once again, Kurt Valenti, and a special guest there, Mr. Bo Valenti, the boss. Here for the final prediction of Super Bowl Chiefs Eagles. Kurt, where are you going? And where's Bo going?
First off, if we have a dog named Bo, you know which way we're going. Bo, what do you think? Let me say, what do you think? Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. What do you think? No kiss? Give me a kiss. What do you think? What are you telling me?
He's whispering in Kurt's ear, and he's telling him with the licks.
You're telling me screw Kansas City? I'm with you. Screw Kansas City. Eagles, fly. Let's go, baby. Eagles, pound and ground, run it, play defense. I'm going to go 27-17. Eagles, fly, Bo, fly. Let's go, Eagles. Say hello. And you know what, Bo? We're there next year, right? You're damn right. We're there next year. All right. Go, Eagles.
Kurt and their special guest, Bo Valenti. So just wanted to put him on first there. How do we top that? I'll go to Paul Rosen for his prediction in this game.
Thank you, sir. So I think it's going to be a close game. I mean, I can get cliché-ish and say, they've got to run the ball with Barkley and the O-line. Listen, it's going to come down to this. Can the Chiefs move the ball on a good Eagle defense? Can the Eagle defensive line control the offensive line for the Chiefs and allow Mahomes to get the ball to his weapons? The Eagles are tough. They've played great defense throughout the playoffs and for the most part for the season. But as I've said basically the whole season, I will take Patrick Mahomes over any quarterback short of Tom Brady, who's going to be in the broadcast booth. And I want that ball in his hand, at the end of the game. And if, in fact, the Chiefs have the ball at the end of the game, he's going to march them down, and he's going to set up a game-winning field goal by Harrison Buckner, and they're going to three-peat. And I think the Chiefs will win 30-27 with a last-second field goal.
Paul, since we're running short on time, we had the MVP as our last segment. Let's just do the MVP pick with the Super Bowl prediction as well. So
Okay.
who's your MVP in this game?
Patrick Mahomes.
Nice. It makes sense if you're going for the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Carson, Super Bowl prediction and MVP.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to the run game. You know, you got Kareem Hunt and Pacheco with Andy Reid and his magic working that playbook. And then you obviously got Saquon Barkley in the backfield with the Philadelphia Eagles. Time of possession, turnovers. I mean, that's literally everything in the game of football. Whoever limits the turnovers is probably going to win this game. I'm pulling for you, Ryan. I'm rooting for the Eagles. But I got to agree with Paul. Pat Mahomes just turns into a different species when he is in the Super Bowl. So again, money on the line, games on the line. Final drive, give me Pat Mahomes, and he's going to keep establishing his legacy for one of the greatest ever. I'm going to say Chiefs 35, Eagles 24, and then MVP, I'll go with Pat Mahomes as well.
Safe one there and a popular one. Our good friend Trevor Salzman, Denver Bronco Roundup. I can officially say,
hey, Trevor,
one of my fellow horsemen now. He's saying, hello, boys. It has been a busy day. I hope you're all having a great week. FYI, that bearded guy looks familiar, LOL. Well, if you didn't know, Trevor, Kurt broke records and grew a beard as long as Keith Brugman's in less than a week. So that's actually Kurt in a beard. No, that's, of course, Keith Brugman, Denver Bronco Roundup. There's Jody, the fourth horseman, saying Knicks/Mahomes. Michael's got Barkley as his MVP. Keith, our special guest, where are you going in this Super Bowl?
This is what I got to say. We've been talking about Rocky. We've been talking about Philadelphia, dressing up the statue, best song ever. That's what we need. We need that ugly. We need that ugly that Rocky was, all beat up. Didn't matter if he was going up against the champ. Didn't matter if he was going up against Mr. T. Didn't matter if he was going up against the Russian. It had to be ugly. I want this to be an ugly game. I want this to be an ugly win. I want Saquon Barkley to come out of here with an MVP, by just grinding and pounding. And I want like a 21-17 Philadelphia Eagles win. That's what I want.
Nice. And your MVP?
It's Saquon Barkley.
Saquon
Barkley in that ground and pound, baby.
Okay, and I got Trevor with a good one here. This game could come down to special teams, fellas. I am a little nervous about Jake Elliott in this game, and Jake Elliott has been shaky most of the year, including the playoffs.
Good point.
I'll end it with this on my prediction. Of course, it was on Denver Bronco Roundup yesterday. I made the Eagles prediction of 29-25 Eagles. And you know what, Paul? Don't get mad with that prediction, because I've been picking against the damn Eagles all year, and they just keep winning and winning and winning. So why not pick them in the biggest game with a reverse psychology role? But all joking aside, I do think the Eagles have more talent. I believe the Chiefs are better coached. We're going to see what happens. Nobody's been able to stop Saquon Barkley. That is my reasoning for this prediction, 29-25. The offensive line has been good. And until they ban it in the league, nobody can stop that tush push. So that's going to come into factor sometime Sunday, and it's a disadvantage to a defense. So until somebody can stop it, until somebody can stop Saquon Barkley, I'm going to say this Eagles team gets their revenge, and our nightmare season, Paul, finally comes to an end with the biggest of nightmares, our rival winning the Super Bowl. So I am going to go 29-25, and Mr. Saquon Barkley gets the MVP. For those wondering, the odds on Saquon Barkley are plus 250 to 1, so 2.5 to 1. If you like the Eagles, that's where your value is, in my opinion. Put a little pizza money, as Joey Clams would reference to, on Jalen Hurts. He may get a couple touchdowns with the tush push. That's your sleeper at MVP. If you like the Chiefs, that's where your value is, right, Carson?
Yeah, for sure. That's a great thought, Kenny. Like I said, if you're looking at Eagles money line, you want to bet on this game. You may want to look at MVP. And like Keith was saying, Saquon Barkley is the difference maker on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'd be shocked if AJ Brown or Hurts won it. It's going to be Barkley if the Eagles win.
I'm not going to put Kurt's video up because we're up against the clock. He has Jalen Hurts as his MVP. He says he can see him getting a couple pushes and a couple touchdown passes. Spagnuolo finds a way to not stop Barkley, but slow him down where he has an average Barkley game, not a superstar Barkley game.
Fair enough.
Yep. All right, fellas, the hour is up, man. This hour flew by.
Didn't it?
Again, Super Bowl's here Sunday. Can't wait, even though two teams I'm not happy that are there. I'll end with a bold prediction for everybody. First of all, thank you, everybody. A lot of names to list. I know people watch later on. Thank you all for being part of the show. Michael and Jody and Trevor come in, Kurt earlier with all his videos, Miss Pearl, etc. If I missed you, it's not purposely. I do recognize everybody, just too many names to list. My bold prediction, Carson had it in the agenda. We didn't get to it. If the Chiefs win, Travis Kelce proposes to Taylor Swift on the podium. 150 million people watching. Now you get all the Taylor Swift fans following you even more because oh my gosh, he proposed to her. And 150 million, you're not going to get more people, no more. It's the most televised event in the world. And what better way to propose to her if you're going to marry her than on the biggest stage of them all? So that's my bold prediction if the Chiefs win, guys.
Kenny, let me just say one more thing. He better hope she says yes on national TV like that.
Yeah, there should be another one. Will she say yes?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get your final thoughts, Paul.
Oh, great show. Amazing how the 1 hour flew by so fast. Fantastic show. Guys, always a pleasure to be with you guys. Kurt, we missed you a lot, buddy. Love you, but we understand. Keith, my man, you are fantastic. Always a pleasure. You're a guest anytime you want. Always a pleasure to have you come back, and have a great Super Bowl Sunday, everyone. And we wish hopefully we'll have a great game.
Yes, and backstage, Graham, thank you for all your help with the comments, helping with keeping everything, having a little side chat with everybody back there and putting up links for Rocky Mountain Sports Network and Carson Shear Show as well. That being said, let's go to Carson. And at the end, Carson, where are you going to be right after this stream? And Graham, if you can put up Carson's link for ticket time, we appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Kenny. Yeah, great show, guys. Love talking sports with you all. Keith, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We love having you. You're welcome anytime. Graham backstage always does a great job. And enjoy the Super Bowl. Two controversial fan bases. So let's just see what happens. But great show as always, guys. Ticket time live. We're going to be live in about 10 minutes doing a bonus on openings. If you guys like casino games, I'll be over there.
Yeah, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. Get to watch Carson play some slot machines for on free on your side and hang out with him and have a little sports. He'll talk sports with you in his chat too. So if you want to continue the sports chat, go check him out over there. Last but not least, our special guest, Mr. Brugman, you get the final word tonight.
Just a fantastic season that's all wrapping up. I know that you guys have been covering the NFL all year long, and I just got to say, Kenny, Paul, Carson, Kurt, Graham in the background, this is my Super Bowl. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to come on here. Grace your show. I appreciate it so much. It's been a blast. It went way too fast.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody. Enjoy the Super Bowl Sunday, and